Hey everybody, this is Hondo Carpenter, your Las Vegas Raiders beat writer on SI and the host of the Las Vegas Raiders Insider Podcast. It's great to have you here today. Great Thursday to you. It's a great day to be alive. If Shannon looks like she's been crying a little bit, she has been. And it's good tears. We actually found a note. Well, you found a note. We have a daughter, our oldest daughter, who passed away, and she found a note that our daughter gave her on her 40th birthday.
Yep, 12 years ago.
And it was a wonderful, wonderful, loving card about she hopes she got 40 more years with her mom. And what's cool, she with her mom.
Absolutely.
So
Hallelujah.
anyway, good tears, happy tears, and wonderful tears. So Shannon, let's kick it off. Let's talk some Raiders football. You have all the questions from the listeners, so let's go.
All right, let's go. Hondo, your Memorial Day podcast was classic. Shannon's face watching you and then calling you Carp. They laughed. He loves it.
Did you call me Carp?
I must have probably.
I don't remember that.
Quick question for Shannon. Aw.
Oh, wait. You're getting questions?
I guess. Very first one's for me.
All right. Well, that's because they know you're a fan.
As a fan,
Oh.
what are your thoughts on?
And you can ask Shannon. I did not pre-read these.
No, you didn't. He actually said when we started, I didn't read any of these. I hope they're good. As a fan, what are your thoughts on Pete Carroll from VCon? Well, V, let me just tell you what. He is a Hall of Famer. So what more is there to say other than he's going to do a great job? He's all ours, and go Raiders! Next.
She has Dexter doing that all the time now.
He goes like this.
Red. We were walking into church and just randomly, Red. The lady who's his children's church director, she goes, "Hi, Dexter. How are you?" Raider. She's like,
But he gets it when he, like, if I call like this, he goes like this. it's, it's so funny.
all right, let's keep going.
All right. Hondo, I want to voice an opinion and ask a question. First, my opinion. I love that whether I agree with you or not, you are not a politician. Thank you. Secondly, my question is there still as much excitement around Genty now that he is here as there was when he was picked? Kyle P. in Durango, Colorado.
That is a great question. There's more. There are some things that he has demonstrated that you really don't get a look at. Either maybe at Boise State, they didn't do it, or in the workouts, you can't really show it just because of the way they are. I would say this. I have seen a lot of great picks that people come in and the excitement is still there after OTAs. I've seen a lot of players come in and there's concern. Occasionally, one will come in and the expectations grow. They were as high as they could get when they picked them. So there was nowhere for it to go but down. And it's still just as sizzling hot. People are excited about Ashton Genty in this inside the building. As excited as Raider fan is in the building, it is red hot. And he is a contact runner. That means he does his best work after when he's hitting people, which is rare on running back. He has.
I was going to say, I think there's excitement, and I got to tell you, because I didn't tell you about this. I forgot. When I was in Vegas with you last week and I was walking through the outlet mall, 3 stores had his jersey in the window.
And it wasn't Raider image stores.
No, they were not Raider image stores.
Mhm.
I was like, woo. I thought it was exciting. I almost went and bought one.
All right, Shannon, go to the next one. All right, so just go to the next one. I mean, this may be your last podcast. You're turning it into a fan show. That's not what it is. Let's go.
All right, I'll be quiet.
Oh, I don't want you to be quiet.
They might like it.
Okay.
All right. With the Las Vegas Raiders having had 4 different offensive coordinators over the past 2 seasons, and now with Chip Kelly as the new OC, can you explain how an incoming offensive coordinator determines the play calling language for their system? For example, a play like Kelly's trips jet IZ might be called green right Z fly 34 zone lead in Josh McDaniels Urquhart Perkins system, or trips right zip 32 zone RPO glance in Luke Getsy's system. What factors influence the choice of terminology, and how is it tailored to the team?
I could answer that, but go watch Sunday's podcast. On Sunday's podcast, I actually go into a lot of details on cadence and play calling. Um, for example, I know some teams, if they want to switch the play from the right to the left, they'll use in the first quarter, they'll use a cartoon character.
Cool.
In the second quarter, they may use a city. In the third quarter, they may use a movie. In the fourth quarter, they may use a different sport, like baseball. And then they also flip from pass to run. So go watch Sunday's podcast, and that'll answer. And a lot of there's no sense redoing it here, but if I had read the questions, I would have told them not to do that question just because I addressed it on Sunday. But go watch Sunday's podcast, and I think you'll get a really good feel about cadence and play calling.
There is an addition to that one. I didn't want to, because it sounds like there's more than one question. Additionally, what is the typical timeline from when players receive their initial playbook to when they first execute the system on the field? And how has this process unfolded for the Raiders so far under Kelly? Those are both from Christopher L. in Ontario, California.
Very simple. They get it as soon as they're part of the team. Now, the playbook is constantly changing and evolving.
Mm-hmm.
So the longer you're with the team, the more gets added. I will tell you a funny story. I won't say the team, just because it may give away some proprietary information. I know a team that when they broke training camp, they had 2 of the big 3-ring binders as their playbook. And when the season was over, they had 5. Now it's all on, what do you call those little computers that you use? It's not a laptop or a desktop, but
Like an iPad?
It's an iPad.
iPad.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
That's what she uses. It all goes on an iPad. So you don't have those 3-ring binders, but I use those because to explain to you how big the playbook gets, and it evolves every week.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
It would.
every single week. So that's
all right. Hondo, I freaking love your interviews with Rob Leonard. I could listen to the two of you chop it up over ball all day long.
That's
What
nice.
do you think makes him a great coach? From Riley R. in Houston. P.S. I love Papacitos as well. We go a couple times per month here in Houston.
Wait a minute. They live in Houston and they only go a couple times a month? What is wrong with you people? We would literally go there. I mean, we fly to Dallas for her birthday, unless it's a game day, every year. We just fly there for the day. We take the first flight in the morning, a direct flight. You can actually get one right out of Vegas. We're there. We have lunch at 11. Then we have dinner there at 6.
Well,
and then fly home on another direct flight. I think that comes back like at 9:00. Why do you only eat there twice a month? What is wrong with you? That quail.
In case but you might get tired of it too if you ate
Shannon,
it.
do you really think I would get tired of it?
There sometimes you do get tired.
I could never picture me or you getting tired of it.
Yeah. And there's enough on the menu.
And there's enough on the menu. Try the seafood enchiladas if you ever need a break from the grilled quail. But just trust me, you'll never need a break from the grilled quail. Ever. All right. What was the first part of the question?
What do you think makes him a great coach?
Oh, Rob Leonard. Yeah, Robbie. Here's exactly what I think. No ego. Great coaches have to be great listeners. You have got to be. I learned this from Bo Schembechler, which is hard as a Spartan to credit him as a great Wolverine coach, but let's be honest, great guy, great coach. A great coach has to be able to have a communication with his players. So if they're not getting it, they're not afraid of them. They go to them and say, I need your, it's just like being a good parent.
Mm.
When your kids screw up, if their first reaction is, oh my God, I don't want my parents to know, the chances are you're probably not a very good parent. But if their reaction is, oh my God, I screwed up, I've got to get to my mom and dad. Because every kid screws up.
Mhm.
So it's not the screw up that makes them a good or bad kid. It's the fact that as a parent, if you create that, or I've shared this story before, and I'll share it very, very quickly, and we'll get back to football. I was 16 years old, and I was not a drinker. And I went to a party, and I started to drink Bartles and James. You know this story very well, and which was a drink. I don't even know. Do they still have Bartles and James?
I have no idea.
Okay, and maybe it's still out there, but it was called Bartles and James. And hi, I'm Bartles, and I'm James. Anyways, and so I remember 16 years old, and I had never been drunk before, and I knew. It didn't matter. I'd never been drunk before. I knew, and I snuck into, and I know that occasionally my friends from high school watch the podcast, so I won't use her name. I don't want to embarrass you. You're welcome, KB. I went to KB's. I snuck into her parents' bedroom. Now everyone's going to know who it was. That from school. Stoddard, shut up. But I used the phone, and I called my dad. And I said, Dad, I know you're going to kill me, but I'm not getting behind the wheel and killing somebody. And here's where I'm at. I'm at a party. I've not drunk before. Dad, I'm drunk. Come get me. And I won't go into all the details, but so later that when we finally left there, because he just pulled up and blocked the driveway. And everybody knew who my dad was. And there's all these kids. He's like, all right, you got two choices. I'm calling the police, and everyone, including my son, is going to get MIPs and get in trouble, or you're going to call your parents and they're going to come pick you up. But I'm not letting any of you leave. And he knew most of them. He's like, I love y'all. Okay. That being said, I remember that night we're sitting and we went, this was a couple hours later, so we had to wait for everyone to go home. We go to this restaurant. It was an all you could eat restaurant, all night restaurant called Harvest Table. I've shown it to Shannon many times. I always say that's that restaurant. And we go to this restaurant called Harvest Table, and we're drinking coffee. And we're drinking coffee for hours and just talking about whatever. And then I don't know, 5:30 or so, he orders me a short stack of pancakes, and I ate them. And he gives me a big glass of milk, makes me drink this big glass of milk. And I look up, and I've only seen my dad cry a few times in my life. I saw him cry, but I only seen him cry a few times in my life. Not because he was against it; he just wasn't it wasn't something that he did. And I look up, and there were no tears rolling out of his eyes, but his eyes were full of tears. And he said to me, I want you to know I've never been more proud of you than I am today. There's nothing you've ever done academically. There's nothing you've ever done athletically. There's no success you've ever had in hunting. There's nothing you've ever done that makes me more proud than you today. And I'm thinking, he's going to kill me. What is he doing? He said, because today you ran to me when you knew you were going to get in trouble because you valued other people more than your comfort. And he said, I'm going to tell you right now, if you have another drop of alcohol before you move out of my house, you're grounded until you move out. You can go to school and you'll come right home after school. But you'll never go to prom. You'll never play another sport. You'll never do anything extracurricular. You are grounded till you move out. But today is a mulligan because you made the right choice. And I love you, son. And I'll never forget. He hugged me and just how proud he was of me. And that's how a good coach is. A good coach can have a guy stand up and say, Coach, I'm sorry, I'm not getting this. And he doesn't get screamed at, you stupid MF. And, now if he is a lazy That's different. But when you got guys that are giving you maximum effort and they run to you, not away from you,
Mhm.
Robbie Leonard is like the Pied freaking Piper. Max Crosby follows him around. The players follow him around. He's constantly coaching. And I mean, Robbie talked about it in that interview he referenced. Max Crosby wants to be coached. You know, Max, he wants to be good. And so what makes him a great coach? He's a great listener. He's a tremendous listener, and he doesn't listen with ego. Man, that's a good lesson.
Right.
Is good coaches don't listen with ego. Right? I'm sorry. Let's go.
Oh, Uncle Hondo, you talking quarterbacks with Greg Olson was the best 25 minutes of my football off season. I love your questions and his answers and the respect you have for each other. Would you have wanted him to be head coach instead of Pete? Don't get me wrong, I love Pete, but he is 73. Kendall H. in Kingman, Arizona.
Kendall, hey, I love Kingman.
Yeah, we do.
We love Kingman. Got a lot of great memories in Kingman. Love Kingman. Love me some Kingman. Woo! Go Kingman. Having said that, no, I would not have wanted Greg. Not everybody is made to be a head coach. I think he is an elite quarterbacks coach. And I don't think that's what the Raiders didn't need another person to come in and learn how to be a head coach.
Mhm.
No,
That's the
I
truth.
love Greg. I respect Greg. He's a great coach. If I was putting together a staff tomorrow, one of the first calls I make is to Greg. I want you on my staff. He's that great of a coach, but no, I would not want him as a head coach.
All right. Hey, Hondo, I really appreciate your thoughts on the podcast about giving people second chances in life. This made me think of Henry Ruggs. Not asking you to weigh in on if he should get another chance in the NFL or not, as everyone does have their opinion. Instead, I was interested if you have heard any talk about him from pro personnel rooms. Would there be a market for him? Has the long layoff tarnished the physical attributes? Only similar circumstance I can think of is Michael Vick. Thanks from Douglas from Alabama. It's a really good question, actually.
I've not heard one pro personnel person discuss him. Number one. I don't think the circumstance is exactly the same as Michael Vick, although both of them were incarcerated. And but so I can see if that's what your point was. Yes, I've not heard it discussed by pro personnel people. I've heard it discussed, but not by pro personnel people. And you don't know if his skills have disintegrated or not because you haven't seen him work out. So,
Right, right. Because you never know about that piece.
mhm.
Yep. Hondo, looking down the road, do you think Rob Leonard is the leader in the clubhouse as a D coordinator if PG gets hired away at the end of this year? Is that realistic that PG is gone next year? Additionally, does Carter Bradley have a realistic chance to make the 53? And is he progressing enough to be relevant in other than the practice squad? Mike, a 55-year van in Vegas.
All right. So let's go to the first question again. Uh, I know the second one was Carter Bradley. I'll answer Carter, then you get the first one ready again.
Okay.
No, I do not think Carter has a shot at the 53-man roster coming out of training camp unless there's several injuries and his play takes another step. I think he may have a place in this league, but I don't think he has a shot at the 53 if Aiden is healthy and Gino is healthy.
Do you think Rob Leonard is
Oh,
the leader in the clubhouse?
he should be. If PG gets a head coaching job, I know that Robbie's going to probably be his choice for a OC. I mean a DC. Robbie should be a DC right now.
Right, right.
It flabbergasts me that Patrick Graham isn't a head coach, and it blows my mind that Robbie Leonard isn't a DC. If I'm a team, if I'm Carolina, if I'm Jacksonville, uh, oh my God, if I was Jacksonville this year, I would have hired Robbie Leonard as my OC, knowing if Liam Cohen fails, bloop, I'm promoting Robbie Leonard. If I'm a franchise that having a first year head coach is acceptable, and I don't think it is with the Raiders,
Hmm.
Of course. Robbie, I'm going to make this prediction right now. Robbie Leonard is going to be in a DC, and I'll make another one. Oh, we'll leave it there. He's going to be a DC, and he's going to be good. Going to be really good, yeah. I don't know if he'll get a shot with a team that can win. That's the hard part. A lot of guys who fail as coaches, it's because they were in the wrong place.
Right.
They're with a team. I mean, let's just look at Cincinnati. I think Marvin Lewis was a great coach in a bad franchise. I mean, how many times have we been at dinner or on the phone with our friends who are coaches that are considering other jobs?
Right.
And have you heard me say, are you sure?
Mm-hmm.
No one else has ever won there. Is it just ego, or have you gone in and negotiated certain things?
Right.
And I mean, how many times? A ton. Every coaching cycle.
Mm-hmm.
Shannon will laugh. Well, here come the calls. And it's true. It's totally true.
Right. Hey, Uncle Hondo, nowadays it seems like every star player on an NFL team has his own podcast, with some running during the season. My question is, what is the NFL's thoughts on this trend? Is this something the NFL encourages as it helps to grow the shield? Are teams ever concerned that a player may reveal a bit too much of the inside information? And do some teams forbid their players from doing podcasts mid-season? Thank you for your time to clarify this. Thanks, Getsy T. P.S. Shannon, you're doing an excellent job and you deserve a promotion.
All right.
Thanks, Jesse.
I'm going to raise your salary to $1,385. I love you, sweetie.
Love you too, Dad.
All right.
What'd you do to my hair?
All right. So let's do a couple of things here. Okay. The NFL loves it because it promotes the shield.
Right. Fans love it.
Fans love it.
Mm-hmm.
Media loves it.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of teams, not all, a lot of teams hate it. Hate it. And when I say hate, that's not a strong enough word. Hate. 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 I love it. I think it's great. I wish every player had one. Just some of them would not be interesting.
Yeah, but some are really good.
Really, really good. All right, let's keep going.
Hey, Hondo, in 2024, there was much enthusiasm and high expectations reported about the hiring of Lou Getsy. Likewise,
Getsy, yeah.
Did I read that? I
Yeah.
think it was spelled wrong.
Yeah.
Likewise, there currently is much enthusiasm about the hiring of Chip Kelly. What is your perspective regarding the enthusiasm and high expectations generated by the two hires? I hope this makes sense. Kenny M.
Kenny, great question. So let me go back and I want to talk about Luke Getsy for a minute and some things I reported and said, and then some others. So you may remember when the Raiders hired Luke Getsy, I did a whole diatribe on why the Raiders thought it was a great pick. A lot of people thought he had a shot at being a head coach at one point. He had done very good at every stop prior to the Bears. And the Raiders were totally convinced he was the right guy. So I shared with the people what the Raiders were thinking, why they thought this was a great hire. Okay. The difference was there was a lot of excited in the Raiders about him. And I had a lot of people say, you got me excited about Getsy and he failed. Well, I didn't get you excited. I shared with you what the team thought in hiring him. Shannon will tell you, how many calls did we get when they hired Luke Getsy? And one very famous NFL person said on the phone to us, we may have even been at a meal. We may have been at Lowry's. What you can tell me if it was on the phone or Lowry's, but you were there, you were part of it. When he goes, Antonio Pierce just got himself fired. Wasn't it Lowry's?
Had to have been.
Yeah, it was that. Yeah, we're eating dinner with them at Lowry's, the prime rib. Oh, if you ever go to Vegas, you have to come eat at Lowry's, the prime rib. It's fantastic. Anyways, yeah, we were eating dinner at Lowry's, and he goes, Antonio Pierce just got himself fired. He was a very famous NFL person that happened to be in town. So he called up, said, "You guys want to go to dinner?" Yeah. And I mean, so outside of the Raiders, there was not excitement about it. Well, I guess there was some excitement, but that's because they thought
Yeah.
the Raiders would be bad. But inside, I mean, I shared all that with you. The Raiders were stoked. Well, I don't think that's fair. I think there was a lot of people inside the Raiders that were stoked. I don't think everybody was. I'm thinking of one particular conversation that we had, but I don't think everybody was. But okay, now you flip to Chip Kelly. Everybody thought that was a great hire.
Mhm.
In fact, I'll tell you how I got tipped off on Chip Kelly because nobody was reporting it when I did. Um, Shannon and I were driving down the road, and we were going to the airport, and I get a phone call from someone that said, uh, "Where's your computer?" And I said, "We're pulling into the airport." "Well, you better get through security quick or get it on Twitter." And I said, "Why?" "Because the Raiders are going to open the checkbook, and Chip wasn't going to meet with them. I mean, if he didn't have to leave Ohio State was going to pay him a lot of money." And he goes, "The Raiders are opening the checkbook. Chip's coming." That's how I found out. We got that phone call. And I can tell you now, I will tell you this, outside of Denver, there was universal excitement around the Raiders. Well, okay, that's probably not 100% accurate. But anyway, so the difference was around the NFL, it was everyone's like, that was a great hire. That was a good hire. Boy, Chip's going to be, I don't know that there would have been that much excitement for Chip as a head coach,
Probably not.
but there was that much excitement for him as an OC. And that's the difference.
Hey, Hondo, I turned 35 tomorrow. Happy birthday. And I'm a newish dad of a 2-year-old girl. I love her, but am writing to ask the name of the book you recommended to everybody again.
It's called Wild at Heart by John Eldredge. Every human being should read that book. Ladies, if you want to understand every single man in your life, am I overrating this? Every man in your life, you go by Wild at Heart. Men, if you want to understand yourself, your sons, your father, your coworkers, you go read that book.
And men understand why you are not like a woman. Because I mean, seriously, women are going to read it and know that why their men are like that, but men are going to read it and be like, okay, now I know why I'm so different from my woman.
Yeah. And I'm going to tell you this right now. It's a fantastic, outside of the Bible, it is, in my opinion, the best book ever written.
Very, very good book.
It's a phenomenal, everything by John Eldredge that I've read. And I don't know what I haven't read, but I've read a lot. Everything by Eldredge is tremendous. He is a gifted, um, a gifted man. And it's John Eldredge, Wild at Heart. We have given away how many copies?
I don't even know.
Hundreds and hundreds. And I mean, we buy them by the case. We give them away. The best book ever. Outside of God's Word, it's the best book ever. So read that book.
Um, also, thank you for the advice that you always give. You and Shannon give me hope while we struggle to improve our life. My question is simple. I feel we make at least one trade, but do you think we'll make a trade for a starter? Do you see blockbuster trade or just depth or a drift capital trade? From Randy H.
Randy, first of all, let me just say this. You talk about striving to make your life better. We know that a positive attitude does good like medicine. I tweeted about it on Sunday. Go look at my tweet from Sunday. But and so you want to improve your attitude, and I'm sure you have a good one, but you can always improve it. That's always the case. Yeah, I think there's a really good chance the Raiders make a trade. I'm not predicting one, but I can see 3 positions that a trade makes a ton of sense. where I could see a star or a depth guy. It depends on the age of the player and how good the player is. And I can see one potential blockbuster.
Awesome.
Yeah. Could see it. Doesn't mean it's probable, but could absolutely see it.
All right, Hondo, this is not a very nice one. Hondo, you are a disgusting, fat, terrible human.
How do you really feel, brother? Or maybe it's a woman. I don't know.
At no time covering my Raiders has your content ever been good. I watch you every day and read you every day.
Stop. Hang on there. Just a second. Thank you. Please keep reading and watching every day and tell me how terrible I am. Please. I mean this. We're not laughing at you. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Please keep reading. Please keep watching. And you can email me every day and tell me you hate me as long as you read and watch everything every day. Okay, keep going.
All right. Thank you. Your name was Mark, but thanks. Hi, Hondo.
Hey,
I'm, we just told him to keep reading.
you don't want to read the rest? Is it bad?
Well, it's just not super nice, so who cares? He already says he doesn't like it. Great, keep reading. We love you.
Yeah, we do. We do love you, buddy.
Thank
You know, I think that guy probably needs a hug.
Oh, I bet you're right.
What's his name?
Mark. Mark.
Come on, Mark. Bring it in here. Let's just have a hug, brother. God bless you. We tell you, as soon as the podcast is over, we're going to pray for Mark. Seriously.
Good.
We're going to pray for you and ask God's blessing to be on your life. You know what? He probably just has had a bad day and
probably
needs somebody to be mad at. I'd much rather you be mad at me than your wife or kids or your boss or you get fired. So be mad at me, brother. God bless you. We love you and we're going to be praying for you. Okay, keep
That's
going.
right. Hi, Hondo. I've really enjoyed your position breakdowns. One thing you regularly mentioned was whether the Raiders would be able to successfully stash certain players on the practice squad or whether they would be likely targets of other teams. Realistically, how often have the Raiders had practice squad players signed by other teams? How common is this around the league? Teams tend to like their guys, so you'd think that they would most likely promote from within before going after a player on another team. I'm just trying to understand the potential likelihood of this happening to some of the Raider players that you have mentioned. Thanks, from Paul Tyler in Toronto, Ontario, Canada.
Paul, first of all, it's a great question. It does happen. It is not something that happens all the time, but the league is very aware due to the digital age of everybody and what everybody does. And so the better the player, the harder it is to stash. And the Raiders have a couple, not a lot, but a couple of guys. And I'm thinking Cam Miller. I'm thinking possibly, depending on how he goes, Laki Tassi. But there are a couple of guys that I could totally see teams coming after, a couple more, but coming after because they were well touted. And so that's the big one.
All right, Hondo, this is a Raider question because it involves the nation, but it isn't exactly football. I love your podcast and I admire how you send books, gifts, and different things to fans. With so many emails, I know you must get a lot from people trying to get you to give them things. How do you wade through it and how do you decide who? Lastly, no one else does that, so why do you? I just admire that part of the podcast. Penny A from Beverly Hills, California.
Well, first of all, the Bible says in Proverbs 17:22 that a generous person will prosper. And so for us, I think generosity is just, that's how I was raised by my dad. My dad taught me a great lesson to every day give something away. And I remember when I first really started to put that principle into practice, I was stone cold broke. I was in debt. I had no money. I literally had no money. And I just decided I'm going to I need to do something different with my life. And I'm going to just be obedient to these principles my dad taught me. And I remember the only thing I had was a pencil. Literally. I mean, I had some clothes and stuff, but the only thing I had, I was in a situation and I was in a room and I had the clothes on my body, which nobody wants to see me naked. That's why I shower with the lights off. But all I had was a pencil. And I walked up to this person and they're like, anybody got a pencil I can use? They were trying to write something down. They were on a payphone. That tells you how long ago it was. And I handed him my pencil and go, oh, you can have it. And it was the only thing I had. So now we give something away every day. I remember one night I was laying in bed. It was during COVID, and we had first moved out to Vegas to cover the Raiders. The Raiders moved out, and I got in bed. I'd been working hard that day. I don't even know how many stories I wrote, interviews, all that kind of stuff. And I'm laying in bed, and I don't remember how late it was, but it was late. And 2 blocks from our house
Station.
is a Shell gas station.
Mhm.
Remember this?
Mhm.
And I jumped out of bed, and Shannon goes, "What are you doing?" I said, "I didn't give anything away today." Remember that?
Mhm.
And you're like, "Oh yeah, you better fix that." So I just went down to the Shell, and I was just waiting for somebody to go in and like buy a pop. I was
You
just
bought
going,
somebody's gas though, didn't you?
yeah, but the only people going in there
With
were gas. So finally, this lady pulls up, my, "Ma'am, I'm not hitting on you. I'm happily married. I live 2 blocks away. Can I just buy your gas? You can stay in your car. I'll pump it." And she's like, "No." And she drove off before she got gas. And finally, this guy pulls in. I go, "Sir, can I please just buy you a tank of gas? I want nothing." He goes, "Yeah." I bought his gas. And so that's number one is we give something away every day. And it's just learning to understand generous people prosper because they understand there's nothing I have that's mine.
right.
And so I am not attached to, there is nothing materialistic I'm attached to.
Right.
Now, there are some things that
Mean a lot.
mean a lot to me. Like I have, my grandfather's gun and my dad's gun. I have a sword that's a family sword from the Civil War. Um, those things are important to me. But if I felt like God impressed me to give them away, I would.
Mhm.
But you're right. We get so much email.
Yeah.
We got an email once. I don't even read them, so my staff does a really good job of weeding through it. But they were joking about somebody kept emailing. It was allegedly a little girl. She's 3 years old, wants to take her daddy to a game, and right. But anyways, so but literally, I just if you can tell when people are angling towards that, and so when they are, it just gets deleted. Um, just instantly do it. And the staff doesn't even know when I'm going to do it. And sometimes I don't know. I just get impressed. Hey, let's do this.
Right.
I can't tell you. I will tell you a story. Recently, one of you great, amazing listeners, emailed into somebody who emailed me and said, I would like to give this person a couple of because they're a season ticket holder, a couple of tickets to a Raider home game. I said, sorry, somebody connected to the Raiders already did, and you missed out on the blessing. And I don't mean that like you did anything wrong, but so sometimes I don't even know. I'm like, you know what? I want to bless this person. So just here's the whole thing. I don't care if you have nothing. Husbands, maybe you don't have. I budget every month X amount of dollars in our family budget for sending you flowers. Do I or do I not?
Mhm.
And I love to send Shannon flowers every single month. And sometimes it's 3 or 4 or 5 times a month, depending on how much I'm traveling. Sometimes it's just once. But I send Shannon flowers all the time and I budget for it. Okay. But guess what? There was not always a season I had the money to send you
Mhm.
flowers. Okay. Or send you flowers to the scope and scale that I do now.
Right.
Okay. And maybe we were back in Michigan over the Memorial holiday. And Dexter's so used to daddy giving mom flowers that I think we were at my mom's house or at somebody's house, and he reaches down and picked up dandelions, which are weeds, but they're yellow flowers that grow in climates like Michigan. In Nevada, it's rocks. But and he handed you those flowers.
It's adorable.
And I'll tell you this: as many flowers as I've paid, and at all the money I've spent,
Those are good.
None of them met more than
No,
Dexter's.
exactly.
And it should be that way
Mhm.
because it didn't cost them anything, but it was a 2-year-old baby who recognized mommy gets flowers from her men. Oh, I was so
Adorable.
proud. I was so proud.
Adorable.
So that's how it's just that. And just be a giver by nature. Be a giver and be that person. Be generous. Even if you don't have a lot, you can be generous to people. And you've always been that way. And I'm proud of you for being that way, Shannon. But be generous and then raise your kids. My dad raised his children to be generous. Just be that way. We like to do something when we go out to eat. We like to keep our eyes open and see
Who can we buy?
whose lunch can we buy. We don't tell them it was us. And Dexter now, he'll point to people and want to bless them. And he's not even 3 yet.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember with one of my sons, every time we'd go to a restaurant, just me and him, I'd say, okay, you get to pick somebody at the restaurant whose lunch we're going to buy. Just be generous.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to be successful in life, I'm telling you, you got to be generous. Got to be generous. Be a generous person. All right, let's keep going.
This is not the football question.
All right. Da-da-dun, 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 da-da-dun. Non-football questions. Here we go.
So there's 2 of them on here. One, I'm pretty sure we answered last week, but we can go over
No.
it again just in case they read. I think it's the same names, but we'll go.
Then don't read it again.
Secondly, hello, Mr. Carpenter. My name is L. Blow. I am a diehard Raiders fan and I listen to you every evening. My question is about your weight loss. I know you mentioned about the weight that you have lost. I like to ask you if you could give me some info and tips on what helped you so much to lose the weight. I would appreciate it so much. Thanks for your excellent work that you do on the Raiders. Lorenzo B.
All right. So our little baby just woke up from a nap. Dexter, can you say hi to Raider Nation? Hi, Raider Nation. Hey, by the way, Dexter, we're going to tell everybody. Let's fix the camera. Let's tell everybody. Dexter doesn't wear a diaper anymore. He's potty trained like a big boy. Yay. I hope they can hear me.
Jerome, say hi, Raiders.
How are you?
What do you say?
I love you.
I love
you.
Oh, we love
Say
you.
Raiders.
Oh, I love it. All right. What's he saying?
We'll go get it in a minute.
What does he want? Oh, all right. So real quick, Dexter, let Daddy and Mommy finish. Okay, bud? Okay? Huh? Okay? You want some food? All right. So real quick. Lorenzo, go buy the book, Dr. Atkins' New Diet Revolution. Changed my life. Totally changed my. Now you've got to be completely committed to it. You know, I always hear people say, "Oh, I cheated on my diet. If my doctor knew, he'd be angry." No, your doctor would not care. I'm friends, and she works in the medical field. We're friends with a lot of doctors. They don't take your case home with them. If you cheat on your diet, you cheat on you.
That's right.
You cheat on your family. You cheat on your children. And I follow the Dr. Atkins diet faithfully. Is that fair?
Absolutely.
And I travel all the time and I'm not with Shannon. And I'm not cheating my doctor if I don't, and I've lost over 200 pounds. I'm not cheating my doctor. I'm cheating you.
And Dexter.
I mean, I adopted Dexter when I was 52.
Mhm.
Was Daddy old? I was old. Yes. And you know what? I'm cheating him. I'm cheating my other children. Brindley, my granddaughter. I'm cheating my family. And so that and stick by it is the best way. All right, Raider Nation. We sure love and appreciate you.
Bye.
Bye. Dexter says bye. Look at that.
Bye, Raiders.
Bye.
All right, bye, everybody. You have a wonderful day. God bless you dearly. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Man, we're getting ready for mini camp, Shannon. Mandatory mini camp. Here it
Go.
comes.